What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of For the Love of Wrestling. I am, of course, your host, the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams. Happy Thursday. The week is almost over. We're just going to get right into Dynamite because I've actually watched a couple of different people's take on last night's Dynamite. And while overall, I would say it was an okay show, there were definitely some serious issues that I had with last night's episode, so let's get right down to it. The show began with Samoa Joe and Hook arriving at the building. Nothing new or special there. They were the main event. So, kicked the show off action wise with Christian Cage defending his TNT championship against the Natural Dustin Rhodes. This was a fantastic opening contest. I'm not even going to try to front on this. Both men severely underrated. Both men doing everything they could to help the other one shine. They really set the bar for tonight. And honestly, I don't think that they the show really exceeded uh this match. I really don't think that they got above this match. Sorry, I saw somebody's comment pop in and it kind of distracted me. Like I was saying, this set the bar for the show, and I don't think the show was really able to ever get going above this. We had two kill switches had to be executed in order for Christian Cage to secure the victory over Dustin Rhodes. I thought this was a good match. We then had Renee and Swerve backstage and basically saying that he has his eyes everywhere. He is watching everything, basically alluding to the fact that it doesn't matter if Joe wins. It didn't matter if Hook won. He's watching. Then had an interview with Chris Jericho, and Matt Sydal came in for some reason, and a challenge was made for Rampage. So we get Chris Jericho on Rampage. I guess ever since the allegations came out, they're putting him on the taped show so they can edit the crowd response to him to make the crowd sound like what they want. Something they constantly are complaining about and accusing WWE of doing. Next match was Orange Cassidy and Trent Beretta versus Penta, El Cielo Miedo, and Commander. This was another fun, action-packed match. I don't think it was better than Christian and Dustin Rhodes, but the best friends picked up the victory here. And just when they were about to hug it out in the ring and give the people what they wanted, the Undisputed Kingdom came out. And Roddy, started running his mouth at Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy said that he would defend his title right there and then, but Roddy's like, nah, you've got 6 weeks, basically making the match for Revolution. And yeah, so we've got our first official match for Revolution where it's going to be Roderick Strong versus Orange Cassidy. If Roderick Strong doesn't win the title here, then the Undisputed Kingdom is already dead in the water. That's basically the scenario they've painted. So they've basically just time-stamped Orange Cassidy's reign. We then had Renee Paquette backstage with Hangman Adam Page. And this was a typical Adam Page segment, if we're being completely honest. He's supposed to be a babyface, but he sounds heel. Just bad stuff all around. We then had Mark Briscoe come out, and yesterday was the 1-year anniversary of the passing of Jay Briscoe. So Mark came out, kind of paid tribute to Jay. You could see him getting emotional. He talked about how his nieces were in the car with him, and the fact that the nieces were never supposed to walk again, and here they come and they walk out onto the stage, no crutches, no braces, no canes, just fully on their own. And I'm not gonna lie, this was the moment of the night to me. I got emotional. I started tearing up a little bit because it's well documented that I did not like the Briscoes. I had personal heat with them because I felt like they constantly snubbed me and the Pro Wrestling Guerrilla faithfuls during the days when I was going. It was very, very often that they would be booked for a show and then decide to no show. And I kind of took that personally as a fan. It was like they didn't care about us. So when everyone started trying to hype them up as one of the greatest tag teams on the scene, I'm like, no, screw those guys. They're assholes. And then Jay passed, with me still having those ill feelings towards them, which made me feel bad. And I've been like trying to chronicle the story ever since, especially when it came to the daughters. And I've seen them progress. I knew that they were doing better than they were in the accident. But just to see them walk out on that stage and embrace their uncle, that was a powerful moment for me. Matthew says, am I wrong to think it's a bit odd that Tony hyped up last week about it being in dedication to Brody, but he couldn't announce this week that they had anything special for the Briscoes? It was a great moment. I just feel like it should have gotten more attention. I completely agree. 100%. Yes, last week I was saying that it felt like they were leaning too much into the death of Brody Lee and paying tribute. Between Preston Vance winning the 8-man tag, Anna Jay winning the 8-man tag, the Dark Order winning their 6-man match on Rampage, and then Preston Vance and Anna Jay both getting title shots at Battle of the Belts. Granted, they lost those matches, but way too much into Brody Lee. And here, it was like kind of a more modest moment with nothing really to it. Maybe there will be something more on Rampage since they figure they tape both shows at the same time. Maybe we'll get something with FTR, but I definitely feel like it could have gotten a little bit more hype. Then we go to these two motherfuckers. The ones I used in the thumbnail. The Young Fucks. And I'm sorry. I'm not going to be neutral on this. These little shits, these little Wish version drug dealers from Miami Vice, sitting there with Renee Paquette, smug. She sits there, starts trying to interview them, and Matt immediately cuts her off and tells her to address them as Nicholas and Matthew. By their real names, Nicholas and Matthew Jackson. First of all, your real names are Nick and Matt Massey, you dumb fuck. If you're going to go that far and trying to say call us by our real names, at least use your real last name, dipshit. It's not like we don't know what the fuck it is anyways. Asshats. And then they continue to go off on this diatribe about how they focused for too long on cancerous individuals that weren't good for the locker room or the business before turning their focus to Sting. And it's like, look, Punk was fired in September. He's been in WWE since November. Why y'all still keeping his name in your mouth? Then they start talking about how they're ready to take the business seriously and take their EVP position seriously. Why the fuck weren't you taking your EVP position seriously when Punk was in your locker room? And you could have made some bank doing Elite versus CMFTR matches, Omega versus Punk matches. Nicholas and Matthew Massey fucked that company so hard in the ass with no lube. They left so much money on the table because of their childish, immature attitudes. And in this one promo, they want us to think that we're taking them seriously. You want me to believe deep down in my soul that Steve Steen, picked you to be his final match? With everything that you have done to that company? I don't buy it. I just don't. Matthew makes a valid point. From the best segment of the night to the worst, Punk is still living rent-free in their heads as they have Omega's pubes glued to their faces. Rod and Todd need to just go away. Yeah. I get the Rod and Todd Flanders thing. I haven't watched The Simpsons in probably close to 30 years, though, Matthew. I mean, Nick and Matt. I feel the way about Nick and Matt as I do about Charlotte Flair and most of the rest of the Four Horsewomen. They just need to go away for a while. Charlotte is out with an injury now. She's probably going to be out for the better part of the year. I'm not saying I'm glad she got injured, and I do wish her a speedy recovery, but it's good for the business that she won't be around the title scene in the division for about a year. Becky has been overpushed. She needs to go bye-bye for a year. Go have another kid. Not trying to be mean or rude. She's a fantastic wrestler. All four of the horsewomen are, but they need to go away from the title picture and let some of these other women have a chance to shine. Bayley has been in the picture, but she's been seriously held down. I wouldn't mind her, getting a small push after the Damage Control breakup, but not an excessive one like the others have had. And Sasha is overrated as fuck. I want her back because I don't want to see her get misused in AEW, but she's overrated as fuck. I don't care what anybody says. This. And the Young Bucks are the horsewomen in AEW. In fact, all the Elite are. Omega, the Bucks, and Paige. They all need to stay out of the picture for a while. Kenny's going to be gone for a while because of his diverticulitis. Paige is trying so hard to get back in that title picture. And he is arguably the worst AEW champion they ever had. And the Bucks just need to go somewhere. Overrated as fuck. We then get a 6-man tag match for the Ring of Honor Trios titles. Bullet Club Gold challenging the Mogul Embassy, Brian Cage and the Gates of Agony. This was a fantastic match. So many close calls. Bullet Club Gold got the belts after Anthony Bowens came out to help make sure that Prince Nana couldn't cheat. I was so happy with this because now if we get the Bang Bang Scissor Gang, like I'm hoping, all 6 men are champions. AEW Trios titles are with the Acclaimed, and the Ring of Honor 6-man titles are with the Bullet Club Gold. Now, if we can start working on some other gold, I think that would be awesome as well. Kind of to counteract the Undisputed Kingdom. If we can get the Guns maybe with the AEW tag titles and the Acclaimed with the Ring of Honor tag titles. Maybe get Billy in there challenging Christian for the AEW TV title, the TNT title, or get him in there challenging for the Ring of Honor TV title. Like, I think this could be really big if done right. I just don't trust Tony Khan to do it right. I don't want these 6 to be placeholders until the Undisputed Kingdom can come for them. That's what I don't want. We then had a backstage segment with Adam Cole and Wardlow. And Cole's basically saying here that Wardlow hasn't even begun to scratch the surface of his potential. And I thought that this was a really good segment, a really good promo here from Adam Cole, baby. We then had Toni Storm come out for commentary for the next match, which was the Virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo. Long may she reign, in her AEW Dynamite debut against Anna Jay. Now, this is another one I have a little something to say about. Let me preface it by saying I have nothing against Anna Jay. I think she's a fine enough talent. I realize that she is still new to the business, hasn't been around for that long. But this match right here really exposed her and her weaknesses. Deonna Purrazzo was leaps and bounds better than her, and it showed. And it looked bad. Deonna looked amazing. She always does. She is arguably the best performer out there right now. In women's wrestling, period. Definitely top 3. But Anna Jay looked like horseshit in the ring with Deonna Purrazzo. I'm curious to know what you guys thought about that. Let me know. Am I being too hard on Anna Jay? Because again, I do like her. She's going to be good when she gets some more experience under her belt. But you put her in the ring against Deonna Purrazzo, no. It would be like putting a boxer, that just finished training school in the ring with Mike Tyson. No. Yeah. Again, a reason why AEW needs a performance center or have someone really teaching and helping young talents. Anna Jay could be a fantastic talent. She's just not yet. Then post-match, Toni Storm gets on the microphone and words are exchanged between Toni and Deonna. I definitely sense Toni versus Deonna at Revolution, although not official yet. I definitely feel that's the way they're headed, and I hope they do. And as much as I love timeless Toni Storm, I do hope the Virtuosa takes this one, and then we get a feud between these two that can maybe culminate with Toni getting it back at All In London. We then had Private Party versus Top Flight, and this was just a mediocre match to me. It wasn't what I expected. We'll just say that. I expected this match to be a lot more high flying, a lot more fast paced, and it felt like it was moving slower than I thought it would. Maybe I had too high of expectations, but it just didn't feel like it was on the level that it needed to be. Private Party got the victory here. Not really surprised considering they just came back. But yeah, just not what I was looking for. We had a Steen and Darby Allin video here. And then we go into our main event. Hook versus Samoa Joe. The match that Tony Khan put together and put on this day just to try to make fun of Hook versus Jinder Mahal. Or excuse me, Seth versus Jinder Mahal. I like Hook. I think he has a bright future. I like Joe. Seasoned vet. Been following Joe for 20 years now. Probably a little bit longer, maybe more like 22 years. In my opinion, I've been seeing people say that this match was so good. This match was so much better than Seth versus Jinder. You know, according to the cage match ratings, it's like an 8 point something, and Seth Jinder was a 4 point something. What did y'all see that I didn't? In my opinion, this match was hot garbage. This match was trash. Tony hyped us up about this match being commercial free. Cool. Okay. Hyped us up for a serious overrun. Shit ran over by like 3 minutes. Tony had me over here thinking this shit was going to go to like 7:10, 7:15. Show ended at like 7:05. And the match itself and everything was over by 7:02. It only lasted longer because Hangman Adam Page couldn't keep his fucking face out of the television screen and had to come and ruin the movement. And this was supposed to be getting built like Undertaker Jeff Hardy. Because Hook just wouldn't stay down. Kept getting back up. Joe kept putting him down. Can someone explain to me how a 201-pound man, no, scratch that, a 201-pound kid is kicking out at 1 from the Muscle Buster? When did Hook become Hulk Hogan? When did Hook become John Cena? I'm waiting for an answer. I know it's not going to come because he's not. But what the fuck? This was hot fucking garbage. The match itself only lasted like 10 minutes. I believe, I could be wrong, I believe Seth and Jinder went at least 15 to 20 in the main event spot. Told a better story. Better in-ring action. Not as many stupid false finishes. But just stupid. Let's see, Matthew's on one here too. So much wrong with this match. Hook should not be kicking out of the Muscle Buster at 1 or no selling a tap out. Hook Hogan is not ready for this. You buried Joe. Overrun was Hangman and Swerve awkwardly staring at each other. I like Virtue's plan. This should have been Joe destroying Hook and having Taz throw in the towel. Hook became Hogan because Tony got worked by Jinder and Fox. I mean USA. Yeah. Pretty much. I agree with almost all of these. First of all, the Muscle Buster, along with the Coquina Clutch, is Joe's move. Even if he wins via submission, he usually drops the Muscle Buster first. You want to keep your world champion's finisher protected. Because now everyone is going to start kicking out of the Muscle Buster. No. That's fucking stupid. The overrun being Hangman and Swerve awkwardly staring at each other, that could have been saved for another show. The main event was Joe and Hook, not Hangman and Swerve. That shouldn't have been the end of the show, period. I agree with this. I was watching Aaron's review and saying that Taz should have just thrown in the towel. Then Hook could have been mad at Taz, said that he never quit, and wanted a rematch with Joe. And Joe, being a fighting champion, would have had reason to give it to him because he's right. He didn't tap out. He wasn't pinned. This entire show was average, bordering on god awful. Maybe I'm being overcritical because I feel like my NXT doesn't get the credit it deserves, and shit like this I feel gets overpraised. But in my humble opinion, this was just complete and utter hot garbage for a good majority of the show, at least half of it. And the other half was good to mediocre. But between the young fucks, between the private party top flight match not being what I wanted, between Adam Page having to insert himself everywhere like a fucking Where's Waldo book. Yeah. Joe can never do an injury angle to anyone if Hook of all people can just shake off being tapped. And after everything that Joe did for Brawlin, this is his reward. I find it hard to disagree with you, Matthew. I really do. Yeah, I was gracious last night because it was hot off the event and I was listening to other people talk about it and kind of talk it up. When Dattila asked on Rangers of Wrestling what they rated the show, I gave it a 7 out of 10. After sleeping on it, after rereading my notes, after seeing that other people in the chat like Matthew feel the way I feel, this was like a 4 out of 10. And I still feel that's being generous. What did you guys think of last night's Dynamite? Let me know in the comments. Going to take a quick commercial, show you all the upcoming specials that are going to be coming to Open Mic Night, including this weekend in our version of The Price is Right. We'll be back in about 40 seconds. So there we have it. That is everything that is coming up on Open Mic Night, the special events, kicking off with The Price is Right this weekend as Emmanuel Dominguez looks to defend his championship against Greg Cherry, Statboy Mike, and Walter. Matthew says he gave it a D in the no DQ review, and he stands by that score. Yeah, that's pretty fair. So that's going to just about wrap it up for me today. Tomorrow, first time ever Friday episode of For the Love of Wrestling. From tomorrow until No Sacrifice, I have made a deal with Dattila since she is watching and reviewing NXT, I will watch and review TNA Impact. It is the first Impact since the rebranding back to TNA, just coming off of Hard to Kill. So we're going to be getting Hard to Kill Fallout and all the build going to No Sacrifice. And my logic is that if I cannot get into TNA during that time span, coming after the inaugural pay-per-view being rebranded and building to and the new the next pay-per-view, it's just not for me. And she made the same deal. She started with New Year's Evil for NXT, and she's going up to Vengeance Day. She may have to owe me 1 week past Vengeance Day because she did miss this week's NXT. She had just gotten back from Vegas, having been there for Hard to Kill and Snake Eyes, trying to get caught up on her rest, get back in the swing of things. Family came over. She's forgiven on that, but she may have to owe me 1 more week there. But tomorrow morning, same bat time, same bat channel, my first ever review of TNA Impact. And I hope I'll see you guys there for that. Until then, I am the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams, saying thank you for joining me and tuning in. And I will see you guys tomorrow.
The Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment.
Thank you, JJ. Appreciate you.